This is Sunday, March 29, 2026. Current time is 5:41 in the p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I could go over my basics that I go over just to map it off for what may happen in the next couple minutes. I think I might do that. There is the VIX. There is for Bitcoin. What's strange for NVIDIA is the lower end of the spectrum is the bottom, or the higher end of the spectrum is the bottom of the average daily range. So that's not a good look at all. But it is more towards the lower end of what it can go down to. So it still has more possibility going up and down. That's not a huge move that it has potential for. But still, nonetheless, that's not a good look though for potential in the future. There it is for Palladium. There it is for Russell. This ain't a good look either for the NASDAQ. Prior, what could have or should have been potentially been support is now going to be resistance. That's not necessarily a good look either. There it is for the Dow. There it is for the S&P. The Canadian dollar, again, like what can be resistance is the bottom average daily range pretty much. So that's not a good look either. There it is for silver. There's a treasury note. There it is for live cattle futures. There it is for wheat. There it is for RBOB gasoline. And the big one, that's crude. If it wants to strike where, for Fridays, what would have been, if it spiked up to immediately, it would have been a circuit breaker halt, which I don't know if it can even happen on a global commodity like that, honestly. But if it did go up to 110, basically, then that will be, if it did immediately whenever market opens up at 6 o'clock, then there'll be more potential for rejection because that's where other algorithms already seen it. Like if it went up 2, then it would reject, so they'll stop purchase. They won't purchase it as much anymore, if that makes sense. And there's heat and oil. It's basically above where it technically is supposed to be on a statistical basis, but 161.8% level from there is 4889, and that would be again running to that same resistance area from what would have been a halt level. And I can go over some of the top stocks in the market. This one is for Meta. That one is for Amazon. Not a whole lot of potential movement on my setup anyway. You are outside of that level that's been a high volume node on a daily. It technically can stay between this for a long period of time, and it kept on making resistance or support several different times. There it is for United Health Group. Here it is for MasterCard. Not massive potential movement, but still some movement. There it is for Visa, JP Morgan, Avgo, Tesla, Bank of America. There it is for Microsoft. There it is for Google. There it is for Disney. There it is for Home Depot. There's Berkshire. There's AbbVie. There's Procter & Gamble. Costco. Coca-Cola. And Chevron. And that's pretty much a whole ball of wax. I don't know if anything else worth going over. Market opens up here in about 6 more minutes, so I think the most interesting one to watch is going to be crude. I really do. I didn't keep up with any news over the weekend. I think that typically don't even help me out any. Regardless, you'll see a heavier move in either direction. more rapidly here in just a little bit. It's already at 102 basically. It's above where it's at from Friday's level. So that's not god awful terrible. I don't know if I did Bitcoin or not, did I? I did not, I don't think. That says Bitcoin's at 67,000 flat. And that's basically the statistical mean, just about. A little bit above it. So it's all fine and well. The thing is that on Friday, I was thinking the markets could potentially get some support, but I was also bullish on crude as well. And I know you can't have two things like that happen at the same time. Markets aren't going to go up, and crude to go up at the same time. So I really didn't want to take a trade Friday, even though I thought more than likely. What I was leaning towards was crude was going to be more than likely bullish because it used prior resistance as support. Anytime you see that, you might see a parabolic move or a move to the higher side, a bullish move, potentially. Yes, anything can be faked out or whatever, but like it kind of is what it is on that front. S&P 500 from Friday, like it was at -4 deviation on the day, I think. Yeah, it's like at -4 deviation on the day. So it really don't have a whole lot lower that it can go either. I mean, 63.78 is where it's at right now. So that's lower yet. And for what I have for opening, its potential algorithms will pick it up at 63.41 basically. So that still don't have a whole lot. It can go down. But again, like I don't pay attention to any news of the weekend, and crude should be the most interesting one, I'd say. It's 102.25 right now. So it's still going up. If I was a gambling man, I'd say if it gets up to here, by golly, it's worth a short potentially. Wish I could. There it is. 111 basically, in my opinion. That's +5 freaking deviation basically. If it gets up to there immediately, then it should do a little bit of rejection or heavier profit taking. Should happen around that time. We got about a minute, 10 seconds left to go. But as you see, Friday, like when it closed out, that was a high day. was at the last minute of the day. But ultimately, that's what my gut was telling me Friday, was that crude would be the one to hold for the day. I think it was around 7 o'clock when I actually came to that conclusion, because it's that statistical mean. Usually, when you get down to a statistical mean, like this little bump down here, and it gets picked up, that means like algorithms are not allowing it to get much lower than that, and then that's when you can hold on to or trying to balance it out, selling and buying or whatever. A Nikkei alert just went off. Crude did spike up, of course. And so many times when you have a spike, then you'll get like a dump, and then like it can use previous resistance as some support. So if it came down to like that 101.28 level again, it'll definitely be picked up. Once this candle's over with, then that should outpace this prior one. Yeah, it will. So this volume node will make the new node on the 1 minute. That's worth going over here in about 2 seconds or so. The volume is between here and here. That's where the main volume on that candle is at. So 121.7% level should be picked up a little bit, maybe not. The previous resistance is being picked up as support. So there's 2 levels there that would have been picked up potentially. And that's all sell volume, so then it gets freaking harder to like get back into higher. That's all sell volume still. Still all sell volume. There's 161.8% level from that volume node. I don't know how reliable the first minute candle is though. When it comes down here, sure enough, it'll be picked up though. Yeah, that's not bad sell volume, 103 and sell off. Not a moving average also, or 10 moving average, whichever one you want to call it. That one can be picked up as well if it wants to maintain a bullish outlook. Just check out those people that don't know any better. But many times when you get a spike there, it'll be dumped off into, it'll be sold into, just because like that's a lot of profit on a global commodity like crude to happen that quickly, that rapidly of a rise in 1 minute. That's 2% rise in a minute. And there's secondary markets too, and it might have already been priced in at 103. So I don't pay attention to the secondary markets. Maybe I should. And see why I got picked up or sold off into whatever. But you can see like that 10 moving average ain't never broke down. I was right here. I had too many damn levels there. I can say, yeah, bounce off that perfectly. That's what I said would happen. It'll aim for that halfway level at least. I know that much. It just sucks as all sell volume on that first one. But it's all sell volume just because of profit taking. Yeah, there is a halfway level. It should hesitate there maybe a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe not. A new high has reached up into the 127.1% level. And again, I know this is more reliable, that volume node, whenever it's already been in play for a while. And then you create a new high volume node. And you can see where my level is at, and then some profit taken there. I still think it'll smash right through that though. Or maybe I can see it, maybe 103.38 is it for the fucking day. But you can see how that profit came in right there too. Profit taking. It came up to my level, rejected, but hell, like, I can't trade crude anymore. That's kind of sad. You had to have almost $40,000 in your trading account to be able to play it. And now the hot level is at 121. And it's possible I can get up to there. I think more than likely tomorrow it'll be 110.65 will be more rejection point. You already have a high RSI reading right now. I'm on the wrong study too. Not that it completely matters, but yeah, it's technically not left a bullish state. I assume the S&P and everything else is dumping right now. And the Nikkei, I learned on that one off. Yeah, you're basically in no man's land. You're not where you're supposed to be. It's hard for me to tell any of this. S&P's almost at a lower level. It should make some support here. Oh, I'm sorry, the Russell. Which the other day, Russell did make the entire market turn around briefly. It's the only one I had at a lower level, and nothing else showed up as being at a lower level, and the market did bounce. It didn't sustain, of course, but did bounce. Now, all this is a lower RSI reading right now. Like, it, on a statistical basis, it needs to have a relief rally a little bit right now to go up. There's a Dow. The Dow did it perfectly. No, that's from Friday's level. Or Tuesday's level from last week. Let's see which one it actually is. Yeah, it's Tuesday's level from last week. Well, technically in like the first, 30 minutes of it, it's not been like a major sell-off. I mean, it's mostly sell volume, but it's not like outpacing like prior volume. Yeah, this really ain't that bad. It really, really ain't. It's a slow burn upward though for the crude. It's, if it wants to stay extremely bullish, and what it'll do is it'll use this level as support. It'll break above it at some point, use this as support, and just run. if it wants to show it being extremely bullish. I really think the VIX has a whole lot to do with the markets too. I really, really do. I'll set an alert on that one. That one probably will pop up. Let me make it come down a little bit though. It ain't gonna come down. There we go. What did I say was that the low level Russell a while ago? What did I say? The Dow? Yeah, the Dow. The Dow was at last Tuesday's level. It could have been supportive. And you had this big volume node here. Again, not a huge fan of the first one or two candles. Since that's all sell volume, this one here, it again, like the statistical mean on that would be potentially some resistance. Well, that wasn't, a crazy candle right out the gate. Well, it's acting like it's consolidating at that higher level and might reject some now. Alright, that's enough of that, I guess. Well, look at it. Trying to tag off that 10 moving average. No, this is sell volume. It should drop a little, I would think. All in all, not very exciting open. It went within my statistics. If it does now, I'm going to be kind of pissed. Because that worked out really, really good with what I had. Really, really good. It's hard though, because there was nothing but sell volume at the beginning there. Yeah, that thing boogered up again. I deleted something. Which one did I delete? I'll have to rewatch this whole video just to see which one I deleted. I got the crude, the VIX, dollar, S&P, NASDAQ. It's the Dow. I don't know why that deletes for when you click like twice or something. Yeah, it's just a whole lot to get over. My best guess is that it will hover around down here, get up to here, pull back to here if it wants to stay in a bullish way, and then eventually get past that, break above the ATR trying to stop and be bullish if it wants to be bullish. I think there's still a whole lot of unknowns about the war in Iran and stuff. See, look at that shit. Stayed within model. Get perfectly stay within model. And that's some shit. Alright, goodbye.